Yeah, I can't think of a better way to start Season 4 than with a new hat and a new shirt. You know, this new hat and new shirt might be the best of the best.
First thing I want to point out is that music. It's catchy. Let's take a listen. Alright, so here's the main screen. You got your goofy looking self on the left and Song Po on the right. Go up here to where this thing says Pad vs Ness, and if you click it, you switch it to Ness vs Pad. What is Pad? Like the D-pad? It's basically you as the first player. Do it again and you can set it up to be a 2-player game. I guess we could grab Trotsky, but he's probably busy doing Trotsky-type stuff right now.
Yes. I'm very busy doing Trotsky-type things.
Grading shows you what you've won, what opponents have won, and how much prize money you can get for defeating them. Select Hits takes you to a screen where you can check out some of the different fighting styles and combinations. And you know, for an NES game, I have to say there are quite a lot. I wonder if different techniques work better or worse against certain fighters. Load and Save does exactly that, and there is a password system so you can work on your fighter and build them up and come back later. If your fighter loses too much, you can load an older password and try again without having to build them from scratch. The physical selection shows your stats compared to your opponent, which is probably most useful before you start a match to see if you're ready. Name lets you change your character's name. Let's try... Yeah, that's good. Previews will let you watch a fight with your opponent. I guess this could be good if you want to scope out your opponent's fighting style or just waste time. Training is really important, although I can see how this part can be boring for some players. Essentially, this is your opportunity to improve your fighter's stats, and if you want to make it through the game and beat the game, you'll need to be on top of this from the beginning. So now that I've done that, let's start the match. So here I am fighting Song Po, whoever he is supposed to be. We just wail on each other. The controls are not like you would expect from years of Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. There's no jumping for one thing, and a lot of the moves require direction and attack. If anything, it might be a little more akin to Smash Brothers, but again, still quite primitive. I would say Kart Fighter makes for a more exciting pick-up-and-play kind of game. However, these fights are about building up your character. The timer is going on in the background, and the lights up in the corner represent your fighter's health.
Wouldn't that be wild if somehow your health was tied to the amount of lighting around you?
So then you can take your win and work your way through the rest of these guys in the game. I think it's intended for you to take them on in the order they appear, but you can cycle through them by clicking next. I'm not sure if they are based on any real-life kickboxers or if they're just completely fictitious. Woodman. What, is he made out of wood? Are we gonna fight a tree? I fought a tree once. LeBlanc. Like Matt LeBlanc, is Joey actually super skilled at martial arts? Watanabe. Is wanton abating. No, that doesn't work. Ivanov, like Ivan Ivanov, the Bulgarian wrestler. The Lord as an overlord. Your will be so. Chan Li, is this the love child of Jackie Chan and Chun Li? Goldman, like Goldman Sachs, invest your money with me or I'll beat you up. Flimrick, sounds like a flimsy Ricky. Fernari, I got nothing for this one. Gonzalez, is he speedy? Simpson, like OJ or Homer or Jessica. Kun Liam, like Liam Neeson. Cognier, is the G silent? I think his strategy is you're so busy figuring out the pronunciation that he wails on you before you can figure it out. Instead of a silent G, it's a silent U. When you beat Cognier, you've basically beaten the game.
But not really, I guess.
Because now you get invited to defend your title against these other guys. The bear? We fight in Baloo, or is it like a real bear? Puncher. I don't think I can hang out with him if he doesn't know how to kick it. Doc Jump. Could you imagine a doctor who just jumped all the time? Like you go to the clinic for an ear infection and he's hopping up and down while trying to look down your ear? Crazy leg. Not crazy leg, but crazy leg. His legs aren't crazy, they're crazy. He should probably see the doc jump and they can hang out with Puncher Guy, and then they can attack the bear. Thanks for the compliment here. Hammer, the MC variety? Warrior, the ultimate variety? Or are we going to start jumping through job classes from the Final Fantasy series? Thankfully, this is the last actual guy in the game.
So is the best of the best NES games? No, the best of the best is not the best of the best NES games. It's probably not even the best of the worst NES games. But it's definitely not the worst of the worst NES games. But you know what it is? It's good enough to start Season 4.
Hey guys, I know this is the part of the video where the credits play, but during editing I realized just how little actual game footage there is to show you because it's just the same thing over and over and over and over. So if you're looking for a challenging fighting game that's going to require, a couple of hours of really building your character and learning the other opponents and fighting, you can definitely play this game, but good gosh, is it really difficult to edit. I'll see you next time.
So as I started the game, I picked one player. I can only play it, with me. So I started, and then I realized with one hand, all you can do is use the arrow keys, and you just run right into this stuff. So then I said, well, let me try it again. So I said, well, maybe if I run and then back it up somehow, I could do something, but no, that did not work either. I just said, well, let me try another strategy. Let me just, go up to it, and then, and that didn't work. I figured I could charge it, but, so that was my first, of many attempts.
My God, I'm busy. I don't even know the last time I went to the bathroom. I'm so busy. Is there something I should be doing? I'm just so busy. Trotsky stuff is very time-consuming.
Hello? Yeah, it's Gimmick. Yo, what's up, Nindeviled? Wait, slow down. You want me to find the most difficult NES game for Player One guy? Let's see. Player One guy. I hope you packed a lunch.
Swamp Thing for the NES, made by THQ and Imagineering. Growing up, I never played this one, and I was never really into the comic books or animated series. The first I ever heard of this game was actually an episode of IUPG over on the LJN Defender, and he had an interesting comment about this game's reputation.
Here's what's considered to be one of the worst entries in the NES library: Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing is an enigma, which is fair to understand once you realize that there are multiple writers who have reincarnated this character throughout the DC universe. Created by Len Wein in 1971, Swamp Thing originally was an anthropomorphic plant material that combined with a human that was about to die and was reformed into a monster. There are different humans that have been known as the Swamp Thing, but the most popular and adapted choice seen throughout film and video games has been Alec Holland. Swamp Thing, however, has undergone various changes in the comics, and things got trippy when Alan Moore took over. Swamp Thing is actually just this conscious plant life form that discovered the dead body of Alec Holland and tried to become that entity, and eventually became the defender of the Parliament of Trees, an elemental community in another dimension called the Green that connects all plant life on Earth. So Swamp Thing is not really a humanoid monster, but a being of pure energy connected to this hive mind of nature that can control all plant life like a power similar to Flash with the Speed Force. But this is like the plant force? Much beauty is in the swamp, if you only look. Swamp Thing is legit op. He is an avatar of the green and has even mastered all the elements of earth, water, wind, and fire. With your powers combined, I am Captain Swamp Thing. Abilities include super strength and plant material manipulation. Swamp Thing can move his entire consciousness through the plants, control other types of alien plant life, and can regenerate at will. Swamp Thing is popularly known as a hero for the Justice League Dark, and often teams up with other heroes like John Constantine. However, Swamp Thing should be more classified as an anti-hero, since he's like as if PETA and the EPA birthed this creature whose only will is to unleash its Cthulhu-like wrath on whoever disturbs nature. When it comes to protecting the green, Swamp Thing will kill anyone who threatens its destruction. Who would even win in a fight between Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy? Neither. In one iteration, they fall in love over their mutual respect of the opinions towards plants and the protection of nature. That's like Swamp Thing's thing. Despite his friendship with Constantine, Swamp Thing would join Superman's side in Injustice because he thought Batman was bringing heck onto the planet, which was a big no-no against the Green. Swamp Thing will mess anyone up that threatens the Green's chill vibes, so don't mess with the Earth. Greenpeace? More like green violence. As for the game, this guy Dr. Holland made some formula that has to do with accelerating plant growth, which we kind of already have that in real life, and then this evil dude who looks like the bad guy from Overlord, or maybe Deadpool, blows up Holland's lab, and Holland ends up covered in the formula stuff as his burning body runs off into the swamp. The formula makes his body react with the surrounding organic matter, and so he became Swamp Thing. Is it possible he's just covered in the swamp stuff? Okay, so hear me out. Why is he Swamp Thing? He's no longer a man? Look at all the mans out there. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Iron Man. There are plenty of characters with man, woman, boy, or girl in the name, or even a prefix like captain or doctor or something, but this guy is relegated to Swamp Thing, not even Dr. Swamp Thing. I guess when he transformed, he lost his degree. Anyway, evil guy Wrinkleface realized he didn't steal enough of the formula. Maybe he shouldn't have blown up the lab, bro. And so he dispatches one of his cronies, or unmen, to capture Swamp Thing. And so as the game goes, you just control Swamp Thing. One button jumps and the other one does the attack. Standard controls, and they got the jump correct. This is very important because, as we will see in other THQ games, the jump is not always done very well, and so we are jumping over enemies and dodging fish. The enemies are placed perfectly to keep you from just blasting through, and Swamp Thing's walk cycle is painfully slow. You'll be doing a lot of jumping to speed up the scroll rate. I like how trash is falling repeatedly from the sky as if a plane is just dumping its recycling out in just this one spot. Oh, and you can also ride a gator's head. It's a good idea for an amusement park ride, just saying. In the next section, weird face statue things have eyeballs that jump out at you, short dudes try to skewer you, you have to make pretty big jumps against haunted chasms, dodge witch doctor skulls, hop cauldron bubbles, avoid bouncing skull things, and shoot a soundwave snake before being chased by a skeleton. There's also this part where you have to walk and jump over the hot coals. Why can't he just go around the top or the bottom? Why does he have to go over the coals directly? The next area is looking really scary, with phantom ghost dudes and jumping cement heads, floating bricked platforms, and weird purple bird things. And you go into one of these chamber things, which take you underground with dripping fire flames. There's even a hand coming out of the wall to take you back out. And you do such a good job that later on the wall hands are applauding your efforts to help you get back above ground. Thank you. A bit later we get our first boss fight with Dr. Weemo. I can't help but point out that Dr. Weemo was sent to capture Swamp Thing, but so far it looks like we went after him. Had we stayed put, we wouldn't be fighting him. Anyway, he floats around, you punch him, and if you don't, he splits into 4 and then just repeats the process over and over. After beating him, Dr. Arcane expresses his displeasure and announces his intent to assign a different crony to capture Swamp Thing by luring him to a chemical factory. And this guy's name is Weed Killer. I guess they didn't want to call him Roundup or something. Once we make it to the chemical factory, we are greeted with disgusting conditions. Green drips, waste water, electric security jerks. The platform jumping is certainly a bigger issue here, jumping from handle to handle with these semi-garbage controls, and it wasn't until this level that I discovered you can actually walk faster if you hold the buttons a certain way. It's weird to try and describe, so just trust me. With additional misfortune, this is one of those levels where you get to ascend up before working back the other way, with the risk of falling to a previous area always looming over your head. Or maybe under your feet. The boss of the chemical factory is the weed killer guy mentioned before. He moves from left to right, shooting pesticide, presumably. Sometimes it seems like he is shooting at the Swamp Thing, and other times it's like he's just shooting randomly. Use the platforms to hop up and punch him a handful of times, and then Dr. Arcane gets mad that he's down to his last unman named Skin Man, whose skin looks rather reptilian. Perhaps this makes for a better origin story for Reptile. In the next level, we get to pummel green bird things, which look like they come from Joe and Mac, coming up in the next episode, FYI. Jump over blue undercarriage clampers, leap over blue Beetleborg things. No, not those Beetleborgs. Also in this area, we can use Swamp Thing to inhabit trees and make them drop stuff. The tree looks like a couple of green eyes, kind of showcasing his abilities that we backstoried earlier in the episode. While this section is pretty easy, in the next area, which looks like some form of apocalypse, the plethora of enemies becomes a bit much. It's tempting to just take damage just so you can get temporary invincibility and rush through. Then there's this one part where you can inhabit an apple and roll around as the apple. And then you can inhabit a flower, which gives you your health back.
I'm not going to bite a flower. Creeps.
When it's boss time, you can take over the trees and move back and forth, dropping green whatever it is on his dumb head. This is by far the easiest boss fight in the entire game. After that, Dr. Arcane basically says he's going to transform himself. Alright bro, that's how you want it. So now we are in Arcane's lab, which wants to zap us. You have to work your way up and 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 up. Feels kind of like Cool World's last stage, and then we have to go over. This part takes a while and definitely has a where do I go kind of vibe. Fighting Arcane is pretty easy. Dodge the electricity and avoid the fire and punch Arcane. After enough hits, he flies off. In the ending, Swamp Thing states he's no longer Holland, and the swamp is beautiful, blah 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 blah. You know, I'm not loving this turn of events. The story was supposed to be about Arcane and his crew going after Swamp Thing, but the gameplay and ending make it seem like more of a revenge story? I don't know, whatever.
Overall, this game is difficult. Very difficult. The challenging part is the platforming, especially in the second and fourth stage. The bosses aren't too bad, it's just getting to them that is tough. So, kudos to you if you've ever beat this thing, but let's take a look and see what Swamp Thing got from that IUPG video.
In the case of Swamp Thing, I rule that the verdict is guilty.
Oh, and the cartridge is really expensive too.
On this, so I tried it again. I figured, well, this time I'm gonna try to use the buttons, instead of the arrow key. So I started to move over to it, and then I was moving back and forth, and jump. I was able to get it, but then I realized I couldn't really move, so then I had to switch back to the gamepad. I'm moving on the directions. So I tried just jumping, but you can't get over things unless you use the direction pad. So I jump, and then switch over. God, try that. So I kept trying and kept trying and kept trying. But still, every one of my attempts were unsuccessful.
Hey everyone, instead of music here, I thought I would just comment on the LJN Defender in the IUPG channel. That channel has been inactive for a long time, however the videos are still up and very fun to watch, and definitely served as inspiration for the Nindeviled Egg series. I have no idea if the creator involved will ever stumble across this video or this channel, but if so, thank you.
Alright, Nindevil Man, what's the next game, and what are you eating?
What? Oh, this is a Sloppy Joe, made from, normal meat.
Okay, what is the game?
It's Joe and Mac.
I guess that explains why Trotsky is here.
Yep, hi there.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's.
Joe and Mac for the NES by Dead East. And there's Joe, presumably, and he's holding an axe because he's ready to execute some enemies.
Now I certainly remember this game for Super Nintendo. Such a classic. Terrific platformer, smooth graphics and sounds, fun enemies, bosses, and power-ups, 2-player action, and a cool overworld map. So how's this gonna go on the NES?
Well, let's see how the NES pulls all that off. Let's switch that to 2 players, there we go. And let's begin. So first a guy walks into a hut, then another guy, and another guy, and a 4th guy, and a 5th guy. What is happening? Wait, it's just me. Where are you?
Oh yeah, the NES version didn't let you have both people on at the same time.
So only one player at a time?
Yeah. Okie dokie, see ya!
Let this be a lesson.
So in the first stage, we are throwing axes at bushes and birds and dinosaurs and jumping. I mean, where's the platforming, though? This feels nothing like the Super Nintendo game. Move far enough right, and you quickly transition to the first boss battle with a T-Rex spitting baseballs at you. I wish I could bat them balls right back at him. If you position yourself right under him, you can cheese the fight by just shooting your axes up into his dumb face. The next stage is a bit better. You can power up your axe to a stone wheel projectile and the enemies are flying around, pre-Da Vinci style. And a depressed dinosaur is cool with you walking on him, I guess. He was in need of a back massage, but then he must not have liked it since he's spitting rocks and smaller dinosaurs at you. Then a plant spits smaller plants at you while a bird keeps diving your way. If you get too close to the plant, it will eat you. Best way to do this battle is dodge the bird, attack one of the plants, and then hit the big guy when you get a reprieve. The boss in the next stage is a big bird. No, not like the yellow kind. And he flies right to left, while his offspring also fly in around you. I'm disappointed the bird isn't spitting the smaller birds out like the last few bosses. The next level showcases how well Data East managed to optimize the abilities of the NES. Look at the parallax scrolling here. It's like 5 or 6 different layers. That's highly impressive for the NES. Unlike the next stage boss, who looks like a roller coaster cart came to life and spits air gushes? Water gushes? I don't really know. I'm running out of things to say about the levels. It's purple. Looks like it was made from some Nickelodeon gack. The background looks like teepees built from churros. The boss looks like he's straight out of TMNT 4, and if you get under his chin, you can cheese him by shooting up. He doesn't bother to get out of the way at all. Hey, check out this pile of cabbages I found. Pretty sure these are the prehistoric ancestors of those Cabbage Patch Kids from the 20th century. I skip ahead a bit since the next few stages aren't really any different and the bosses are basically palette swaps of prior bosses, but here in the final level we're supposed to be inside a dinosaur's body, I think, because that's what happens in the SNES version. It's hilarious that the background has cilia and what is supposed to look like eukaryotic cells as if we are suddenly microscopic. Anyway, this place is infested with flying albino deathbirds and cavemen. Then we hit the final boss, who looks like a mutant caveman, or like a love child between a caveman and a dinosaur. He's not tough, just dodge the birds and aardvarks that he spits from his mouth, and keep shooting at him when you can. And then you run through the forest or whatever with some babes chasing after you. Seems like he's running from them. And then it's the end, but this guy looks rather menacing, don't you think? Is he supposed to come off so creepy?
In conclusion, it's a decent NES game, but it's nowhere near as fun as the Super Nintendo version. And since you can't have both guys on the screen, the game really should be called Joe or Mac, right?
or macaroni and cheese. And then he thought, there's one that he likes the most, and it is very convenient to take everywhere.
There, we finally put this thing together. But I know why you're here. Let's do the next game.
Well, don't get too excited. Road Fighter for the NES is middle of the line at best, but we need to take a look anyway. Exactly what are we going to do, though? Fight the road? So the first thing you might think is Spy Hunter, what with the top-down view of a vehicle and a road and it scrolls vertically, but no, this is not that. Your objective is to survive the necessary distance to reach the flag on the left sidebar. The A button accelerates you to around 220 kilometers per hour, while the B button will turbo you to 400 kilometers per hour. So clearly, we are on the Autobahn. If you bump into another driver or oil slick, you can start to spin out, and in order to gain control, you need to let up on the buttons before you crash on the side. As far as vehicle types go, the white cars give you more fuel, and the yellow cars don't move from their path, whereas the blue and red ones usually will, and this is when you're most likely going to get bumped. But the worst thing of all is that droning engine noise. Ugh, there's only two other noises I can think of that are nearly as bad, and that would be 1, the noise at the end of Serial Thriller from Fat of the Land by The Prodigy, and 2, this one noise from 404 off Abandoned Ship by Knife Party. Both of which are fantastic albums, by the way. To get away from that droning engine sound, we're going to go ahead and play some nice, relaxing music. We are on a nice oceanside course after all. This course is a bit tougher since it's narrow and you're more likely to crash when you spin out, but when I look at the ocean, I keep expecting to see one of those water enemies from Legend of Zelda. The fourth and final stage is a bit more winding, but has wider lanes and is easier to maneuver compared to the prior level. Once you cross the finish line, the game repeats the same stages with more vehicles in the way, essentially ramping up the difficulty. And once you complete the second set of the same 4 stages, it continues to repeat, so there isn't technically an end to the game, but I would argue that if you make it through the stages twice, you've effectively beaten the game. Now go ahead and watch these credits, and then some more SNESville nonsense. See you next time.
The name is SNESville. You're looking at the all-time Super Nintendo sock puppet champion. Did you enjoy the episode today? I didn't even watch it. You know why? Because this is a real cart game, baby. Yeah. this is a car racing game. Look at this, just blowing through the competition. Oh yeah, just that good, baby.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, this thing right here? Oh, this is the Lemmings poster that came with the Super Nintendo Lemmings cartridge I owned as a kid. I don't know where that specific cartridge is anymore, but somehow the poster survived all the moving and packing and unpacking. Yeah, well, today we're going to play Lemmings for the NES, which I didn't even know existed. However, the Super Nintendo cartridge will always hold a special place in my heart. Alright, enough sentimentality. Let's play.
So, Lemmings. The opening scene is this creepy-looking lemming, I thought they were supposed to be cute, calls to his buddy, which leads to an on-the-job accident, and instead of rushing to help him, this guy just walks off. What a jerk. Here's the menu. We can control whether we want music or sound effects or FX. I've always thought that was cool. Set the difficulty or enter a password. In the password screen, vowels are not an option. What is this, Wheel of Fortune? We gotta buy the vowels? Let's get started. So the idea is lemmings drop from the opening of nothingness into the level, and we want to get them over to that exit. The lemmings will walk a predetermined path unless we intervene. Using the menu below, we can see how many abilities we can apply. In this first level, we can only apply diggers to get them to drop. These first half dozen or so stages really just familiarize us with different abilities, such as making the lemmings safely float down to avoid smooshing into the ground, using blockers to prevent lemmings from walking off a ledge, using a miner to dig down vertically and then assigning climbers to climb up, and using bashers to bash through walls and solid objects. Don't you just hate when you need a wingman and the only guy available is Robert? He's definitely not your first choice wingman, mainly because he's just kind of boring and plain, and so you meet a girl, but she's with her friend, but Robert went to the bathroom, and so you're talking to the girl and her friend, and you start talking up Robert and all these cool things he's done, even though they aren't necessarily true, because you just want to get the friend distracted long enough to let you talk to the girl without interruption, but then Robert comes back, and he doesn't know what you've made up about him, but if he was nuanced, he'd know how to play along, but instead the friend of the girl keeps asking Robert questions, because deep down, you know she knows, and you know she knows you know, and Robert is messing it up, and you wish she would just stop questioning Robert's backstory. As the levels progress, you need to get a bit more creative, and timing becomes important too, such as in this level where you need to send two guys up as climbers, then let them float down, and use one of the guys as a blocker to let the other guy bash his way through the wall with the arrows indicating it can only be bashed through in that direction. You also have to watch out for stage hazards now, like water, because apparently lemmings cannot swim, or this drill thing which flings the lemmings up and smashes them in the ground. Then we get some fire pits, and green acid, additional, or maybe 3 spikes in lava. Actually, let's try this one again. Here's a story my mom used to tell me. Once upon a time, Winifred, the king's wife, complained to the local magician that she was frequently cold in her favorite drawing room because a draft would come through the opening in the stone wall from the outside. This drawing room was her favorite because she would use it to socialize with other women of nobility and felt like she could be herself. Additionally, the king would never enter this room since it was for the women. Well, the magician had secretly loved the queen and on rare occasion had been permitted in the drawing room to perform for the women. One day, the magician snuck into the room and turned himself into glass in the opening of the wall. He thought this way he would be able to observe the queen always and keep her from getting cold from the wind while still allowing sunlight through. Surprised, the queen approached the glass and observed it before smiling. "Very nice window," said Queen Winifred.
Oh, were you expecting more from the story?
Okay then, so one day Queen Winifred holds a contest in her favorite drawing room. She was to hold a surprise contest for her friends. She provided all the necessary fabric, scissors, needles and thread, and the goal was to quilt something on the spot. None of the participants were supposed to know. However, one of the participants overheard Queen Winifred explaining her plan to her servants. The participant devised a scheme to bring something with her and pretend that she made it during the contest. The magician, who was now a window, witnessed the switch switch during the contest and whispered his observation to the Queen. The Queen then questioned the woman, looked through her belongings and found evidence of the switch and stated, "That's your personal quilt. Go home."
There. You more satisfied now?
Lemming and Lime. This is the 25th stage, by the way. It's cool because of these blue laser traps, which kind of look like the regular part of the level. Not very fair. Doing the level correctly, one method is build several steps over the traps and acid, like this. Then just let the masses walk toward the exit to complete the first set of levels, the fun levels. And there you go.
And that takes care of the fun levels for the game. But we will be back to finish this one.
So here's one I don't remember. Widget for the NES, based on the cartoon show Widget the World Watcher. The series was created by Peter Keefe, the guy who created Voltron, so that's pretty cool. Widget is one of these environmentally friendly type characters. You know, I feel like we looked at something like that recently. In the cartoon, Widget was voiced by Russi Taylor, who had provided a ton of voice work already, including Huey, Dewey, and Louie. The main bad guy, Ratchet, who is Widget's evil pro-pollution twin, was voiced by Tress MacNeille, who has her own extensive list of roles but makes several appearances as different characters on The Simpsons and Futurama. There are other bad guys in the show, and I'm sure they'll show up in the game, but whatever, can we just play? Here is the intro screen, Widget, by Atlas and Zodiac. We select the first stage since it's all we can select, and Widget looks weirdly at us while some creepy elder people tell him the planet is being attacked, and people are being poorly influenced by a being named Megaslank? Is that an off-brand Supertramp? You know, the dialogue goes on too much. You know, I'm supposed to be a kid, I have no attention span, it's the early 90s, let's go. And here's the first stage. The correct button jumps, that's good, and the other button shoots a projectile at the green wormy guy coming toward me. Spiky spike plants are not part of the background, apparently. Ouch. You know, I can't seem to get through this opening right here. Oh, come on. It's a platformer. Fine. But if you get hit, you bounce back, so be careful with those ledges. Then we jump into a hypodermic needle and warp inside a caramel crisp candy bar filled with cute but also scary ghosts. Any nice sprites? It's also becoming apparent that Widget's size might make maneuvering some areas difficult. Widget also gets to fight these evil macaroons, but he also has the option of exploring some hidden spots. Cool. He also has the option of getting an upgrade to the projectile. Some of those bonus items are quite irritating to procure, like this one long conveyor belt. But if you hop, you can go faster, so let's hop. Then we get to fight Megaslank. He bounces around while Widget walks and hops with the conveyor belt. Shoot him a bunch, and he's gone. Turns out you saved the people of Earth. Are we sure this is the beginning of the game? Then we come back to the stage select screen, and you can pick from 3 new stages in addition to going back through the first stage if you want. So it's kinda like Mega Man, but not really. It turns out you have to do stage 3 before you can do stage 2. This stage is about this straight up street fiend stealing resources or something. We start with the projectile we can't dodge, and you gotta jump just perfectly. But don't jump too high or you'll hit Widget's dumb head on the spikes. Go up the stairs to wait for some cute bats to get out of the way, dodge some abominable snow dudes, then attack some apples. I wonder if they're mad at me for the Swamp Thing episode. Get inside later with these Grey Castle tapeworms and charging knights. Interesting. An abominable snow yeti, not from Pasadena, blocks us in this room. Further ahead is Dr. Dante. He switches between pubescent Dexter and methadone Archie. Shoot him a bunch and then he's done. After that we go to stage 2, which has something to do with whales being stolen. So here's something we haven't touched on. As you defeat stages, you unlock special mutation abilities for Widget. And in this level, you can really speed things up if you warp into this rat guy, and then warp into this bird guy mid-jump. The boss is this floating brain and hands, and the hands are definitely using profane sign language, or maybe just saying, "Yeah, rock on, potato, giraffe, cheese, wizard." I don't fully understand what triggers the brain to disappear, but it is the target. Once defeated, the baby whale is a return. Oh yeah, we were saving whales or something. All that's left before the final stage is stage 4 with the bad guys, Flim and Flam, who are twins. They kind of look like knockoff versions of the twins from Oblongs, but cheesier and at home. They are stealing rare animals, and the animals are verbally protesting this inconvenience. And in this stage, we have weird enemies. Not sure how I want to describe them, but, definitely look out for the green acid. I mean, who would have thought that green acid could hurt us? And check out these goons, like TMNT villain dropouts, and Rings of Fire attack us too. I like this part where you can use the flying widget bird mutation, and these rabbit-like guys just jump to their demise. Then we fight Flim and Flam, or is it just Flim Flam? Is it a them? Are they a plural? Pronouns. The boss is one of these 3 possible images. I don't know if there's a pattern, but I know if you take the boss out, there's something about animals being returned. I don't know. The point is, we are going to start the final stage, which is about sending Widget's evil pro-pollution twin back to the polluted dimension or something. In addition to being the final stage, this one will also be the longest. I'm loving that background. Very New York or Chicago-esque, makes me feel like I'm there. Cool. Oh, I love how these pig guys have these giant forks, like they know they're delicious and are tired of being eaten. And then this brain guy who doesn't fight back at all and then looks all surprised when I take him out, like, "What do you mean I'm not invincible?" One thing I could have done before this stage was go back through the previous stages to upgrade health and MP bars, the MP bars being the bars for transformation, and also upgrade the strength of the projectile, but it's not required to beat the game. Did I mention there's a part where you turn into a fish and swim? Yeah. We make it to the boss, Ratchet, and he kills Widget immediately. Try again. He bounces from platform to platform, left to right. Not sure if there's a pattern, but he shoots an energy wave forward, and if you hit him with Widget's projectile, he returns a different projectile from that one. I believe if you powered up the projectile the entire way through the game, it would take maybe 5 or 6 shots, whereas my current projectile takes like a dozen or so. Then it shows Widget zapping Ratchet back to the other dimension before the cult leaders, elders, tell Widget he did a great job and promote him to head whatever, I don't know or care. I just hate the way he's looking at us, so creepy. I'll probably be sure to include that in the thumbnail. I do like that music. Here are the game credits. Alright. Character design was by H1. I guess J3 was out sick. Oh, and don't forget about the great ship SS Aruga. Have you met their lawyer? His name is Yosumi. Has your motorcycle ever not started and you were like, "Why, Suzuki?" Okay, that's enough. You want a song?
Widget is so purple, walks as slow as a turtle. Walked a mile, it was 10 feet, I'll shoot a projectile. This is why I do not smile. Cult leader, elder people, treat me like I'm a sheeple. Make me watch their video, now I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.
Hey, we're back here for part 2 of Lemmings. Let's go ahead and jump into the game before anybody shows up or disappears or tries to make a cameo.
So my buddy John, you know John, he stayed up like 3 days in a row, but he promised to go to a carnival with us. Not like Something Wicked This Way Comes, but anyway, they had a food costume contest and AJ and I were going to dress up, like a hot dog or something. The idea was to wear a hot dog suit and then just get drenched in actual ketchup and mustard. Well, AJ forgot the ketchup and then John passed out. So without John's approval, we got him into the costume that was like a hot dog and then drenched him in mustard. He stayed asleep for all of this. The judges thought he was pretending to be asleep. They were impressed and we won. But then when John woke up, he was very confused and concerned about his physical appearance. So I told him the whole story over and I said to him, "That was why you were yellow." At that same carnival, there was a talent show for pets, and the rules did not rule out any particular animals, but most people assumed cats and dogs and such. But this guy had these giraffes that could dance and sort colored balls and could even use blocks to spell words. Pretty impressive. However, the giraffes lived at an enclosure, and they were quite dirty, and I guess their diet consisted of a lot of beans and prunes and high-fiber stuff. Well, the owner brought the giraffes to the competition, but the stench offended the lady in charge of enrolling the contestants, so she said they couldn't participate. And when the carnival organizer heard about the giraffes and what they could do, he told that lady, "Qualify those dirty, fart-smelling giraffes." You've heard me tell some silly stories, and there will be more of that on this adventure. You have been patient, probably rolled your eyes, and maybe even chuckled, and will continue to do so, but I know you're appreciative or you wouldn't be here, and from this I've learned that it is important to have good friends that thank you kindly. And here is level 25 of the tricky stages, which would be like level 50 total, because beating this will put us halfway through the game. I haven't gone into too much detail, but I've not shown every stage in the game so far. That would take forever, and this 4-episode quest would easily become like 30 to 100 videos. I'm only showing the most noteworthy stuff. Now that we are halfway through, I can easily say one of the more aggravating factors in this game is your inability to change the menu at the bottom while you are paused, but you can move the cursor while paused. I find it has been easier to adjust the menu to what you want, then press pause and move the cursor to where you need. You can do it the other way around, but then you have to put the cursor where you think the lemming will be once you have time to unpause and then adjust the menu item. I do not recall if the SNES version did the same thing, but I suppose one could argue this adds an additional element of timing and eye-hand coordination. Anyway, I like this level because of all the stars in the background, and I think you can actually walk on them if you get a lemming on top of one, but you have exactly enough builders to complete this path the way that I've done it. And I always get such a rush watching that lemming mass just gallivant the path that I spent minutes building.
Things have gotten serious. Again. 3 of my friends are missing, and in order to get them back, we need to play and beat Euphoria.
Euphoria. Because there are going to be 4 playable characters, get it? This one is by Sunsoft, and so the story is Bop Louie and his 3 friends slipped into a crater or something and ended up in a strange world, and he's separated from his friends. And I think they want to get back to Euphoria.
So the game is named after the place they are from, not the place they're going?
I guess that explains the saga being in the title. And so, the saga begins. Bop Louie can't find his friends, and we're off. We can go left or right. Apparently I can't figure out the right way to jump on enemies, that's a shame. And when we jump Bop Louie into the water, he clearly has issues swimming. Probably needs to be unlocked, or a different character can swim, who knows, but let's go ahead and climb up this thing. This game is going to be full of weird semi-kawaii stuff, isn't it? But it turns out you can jump on enemies. You just have to press down to actually get them. And then you pick up their dumb little faces and toss them. And then it's time for a big jump. Next, Bop Louie, I'm just going to start calling him BL, runs into his buddy Freon, but Freon doesn't remember BL, so naturally they're just going to fight about it.
Is that a knock on the door? I don't know anybody who can knock. Real Italian guy, are you here to help me play this game, or are we going cannoli hunting again?
He's fighting
Sorry about that. Oh, look, BL beat the guy.
And he casually reminds Freon that he can swim and walk on ice.
Well, that mystery is solved, and now Freon is joining the party. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, do you have your memories?
Just the Italian ones.
Do you maybe want to help me beat this game?
Are we eating pizza in between scenes?
You know it.
Hey, I like his hat.
I think it's actually part of who he is.
And his jump sequence is cute.
I'm glad this is a two-person team now, but where do we go?
What's that box thing?
Apparently it's a crystal which will show us the password? Let's check it out.
I've never seen a password like that before. It's giving me a headache.
Using this menu, we can switch back to BL.
I could really go for a BLT.
Let's work on that later. We got 2 more people to find.
Hey, check it out. Some water.
Yeah, let me switch characters. Supposedly Freon does well with swimming.
Yeah, he swims like I do.
Oh yeah? Can you prove it?
So who is this guy?
I don't know, but Freon moves kinda slow, so I'm switching back to BL.
When you land on his head, his mouth kinda looks like Rick.
I can't tell if the head stomp or throwing the blue head things is what actually is hurting him, but eventually he's done.
See you later, Euphoria Rick.
And we unlock BL's secret weapon.
It's kinda weird that this foreign land is where his secret weapon was found.
Well, this is a saga after all.
What does it even do?
That. It does that.
Still waiting on those BLTs.
Later. Oh wow, this guy doesn't do well on the ice, so let's try Freon.
Much better.
You ever see Cool Runnings?
Of course. Jamaica's got a bobsled team.
You think we should go down?
The game seems to want you to.
Look at this weird frog guy.
No thanks.
What do you think is in the chest over there?
It's the map. Can we take a look?
Reminds me of a map for something like Metroid.
Does that make this a Metroidvania? And where are we on this map?
I'd rather jump than answer that.
No, really, where are we?
Well, if we work our way through this tunnel and hop in this minecart,
I bet the trolls would love this.
then we can climb up this rope, do a hopscotch yonder ways, and now we are compass owners.
And there we are on the map. So where to next?
I was thinking we can try to find the next Euphoria character and make it into some kind of a trio.
Like Italian trio?
Well, yeah. So I mean, okay, what exactly is an Italian trio?
Oh, you got lasagna, you got fettuccine, linguine, pasta fazool, minestrone, like kind of like that.
Okay.
A tour of Italy, or are you talking more like Buccelli, Pavarotti, Di Stefano?
So wait, if you tour Italy, you just go to various places and you just keep eating those same dishes repeatedly?
That's what an Italian does. Eat
Eat. Wow.
and eat.
Okay. What do you think BL wants to eat?
BLTs.
Yeah, well, but that's not part of an Italian trio.
Yeah, it is. You got tomato.
Okay. What about the bacon lettuce?
So, bacon could be pancetta, if you want to go that route.
Okay.
And we can do the bread as a ciabatta, focaccia.
I kind of agree with you.
And lettuce is lettuce. So.
I'm pretty hungry now.
Here's the next guy we get to fight and assimilate.
Are you gonna, fight us?
Or just stand there and look cool?
Do I really need to answer that?
I wonder what ability this guy will have.
Obviously, it'll be the coolest ability.
Well, he's defeated, so let's see.
And his name is Shades.
Well, wasn't that fortuitous?
Don't you mean something about foreshadowing?
Dude, can you imagine having 4 shadows?
That would be euphoric.
Anyway, Shades tells us we need to get to a temple, and there is a giant gate or something.
Sounds like we might encounter some legends of the hidden temple.
Wow, this guy is really good.
Wait, no, stop.
Let's relax, David Shades Caruso.
That dude wishes he was as cool as me.
So the Robinson Crusoe, what even is that?
Oh.
Are you talking about Robinson Crusoe?
Yeah.
Shortstop for the New York Yankees?
Oh, he is?
Wait, you mean the guy who landed on that island with like his kids and he had to like survive for like a few years, months?
Are you talking about Swiss Family Robinson?
Oh, crap, that's not even close.
Wait, is this Lord of the Flies?
Not Lord of the Flies.
No, I mean, yeah. So, Hammer Time.
Hammer Time.
MC, let's go.
MC Hammer Time.
Can't touch this.
Yeah.
You can do 2 seconds.
Look at how well you float.
Of course I do.
Yeah, but look how mad you get when you get hurt.
Mad?
Yeah, like your eyeballs go rah, 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 rah. See, that's why I got to switch to BL.
How do you see my eyeballs behind my shades?
Good point. That is a
my
good
head
point.
dislodges from its body, so I'm able to see things differently. Yeah, you didn't think about that, did you?
Touche.
I wonder what this chest will have.
Looks like it's a hammer.
It's Shade's secret weapon. You know, the coolest one.
What does it do?
It seeks out multiple enemies and takes them out.
I really wish we knew where to go to next.
Well, this item should make that easier.
So it's going to show us where all the items are located? Let's check the map.
I guess we know where we are heading then.
And maybe we'll find the 4th party member too. Do you guys have any good stories involving like trees or eggs? Or trees and eggs?
Well, actually, you know how you go to a supermarket and you see white eggs?
I do.
I can't eat those. They remind me too much of ping pong balls. I can only eat brown eggs.
But don't those just remind you of just brown ping pong balls?
No, it just feels more natural.
Okay.
Well, I got a jumbo egg once and it had 3 yolks in it.
Oh, so like an Italian trio.
Exactly right.
Okay.
You got it.
Like a chicken trio.
Chicken trio.
Yeah. Did you guys ever get like Easter eggs around Easter time?
No,
They were all hidden.
I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in the eggs or you don't believe in Easter?
I don't believe in rabbits.
Oh, what if I found one and showed it to you?
I wouldn't believe it.
You would believe it's an illusion?
I would believe that it's probably a ferret.
Okay.
I love ferrets. We used to have a ferret. He dyed it purple. You don't want to know what the name was.
If a ferret could drive a car, how would it steer the car? With a ferret wheel.
Wow. Okay.
This was supposed to be a weird like stretch for a Ferris wheel.
I
Does
thought
that
you were
make
going to
sense?
like talk about like what kind of car would the ferret be?
What kind of car would the ferret be?
That's a great question. Not a rabbit, obviously.
Yeah. Would he drive for Uber and deliver Italian trios?
Of course.
Nice.
What is he doing with that egg?
He's going to deliver it.
Where?
Actually, he's going to prove to the Shades guy over here that it exists.
The rabbit?
Do you believe in rabbit eggs?
That I do believe.
Okay, but as soon as they're hatched, they're not real.
They're chocolate.
Okay, gotcha.
So, bro, what is your plan with the purple egg?
I was planning to give it to this bird mama.
Why?
Because Birdface Lady will give us a lift to places including this battle against purple versions of the guy we fought before.
I don't remember that.
It was before your doesn't
Doesn't seem like he's any different than before.
Did the previous version of this guy have his head floating around?
No, this part is definitely new.
Sounds like he had something on his mind.
No, that doesn't make sense. Stop doing that. That's not okay.
Once we beat him, we get this power-up which lets BL shimmy up the walls.
That's cute.
Check out this big gate. The message says it won't open without the keys. Any thoughts?
Dude, keys open
You know how
gates.
keys work? You stick
Did you
them
even
in,
go
turn
to
them
gate
the right.
school?
Usually
Dude,
left.
it's right there on the
Yo,
screen.
Open the door, man.
Come on.
Hurry up.
Were you dropped it on your head as a kid?
I think he was.
Check out these shimmying skills.
Check out those lickers.
Those mouths that are licking nothing?
Oh, yeah.
I think they are eternally searching for lollipops.
Why do those clouds look like they're about to vomit?
Because you didn't eat your vegetables.
What if I told you I was a vegan?
Then I guess you ate too many of them.
Hey, what's the deal with that rock?
Check it out, rock and roll, huh? Huh? Get it?
Yes.
Bruh. Be better.
Can I borrow the shades?
What? No.
What was the point of blocking the water with that rock?
By blocking the water, we now have access to this tunnel where BL finds his friend Gil, and naturally we have to save him by fighting him.
Are we expecting someone else to show up?
I don't know.
Seriously though, is there a fourth guy coming?
I'm not kidding. I really do not have any idea.
Bro, you must have someone else coming. Someone has conveniently showed up after every rescued character. Really mediocre storytelling, by the by.
And so we knock out the guy, and now he's going to join us, and that's all there is to...
Oh, it's just Trotsky. That's who you got for the fourth?
I am not going to stand for this travesty.
Yeah, take those off.
Hey, these are prescription.
Oh yeah, bro? Whose?
Some guy. Gentlemen. There's been a bunch of talk about keys?
Yes, I'm hoping there will be one after we defeat this guy.
Is he dropping off Teletubbies?
I like his doofy face.
But not his lasers.
Is he going invisible, or is that something with the video?
No, he's really invisible.
And now that he has been beat...
It's red key time.
I'm very happy for you.
Alright, so hear me out. What would life be like if you could breathe underwater? Like, what would you do?
Does breathing underwater mean you're breathing the water?
Yes. Answer it both ways.
Huh.
It's so tiring to swim for like half an hour as it is. I can't imagine breathing underwater and then like trying to get stuff done. You'd get like halfway through your day and just have to nap.
Well, but consider this, nobody would really drown anymore.
We would have gills, correct?
Sure.
Or we like wearing like scuba diving gear and like living underneath the water for.
Well, you can breathe under the. Well, that's a good point. I guess the question. I guess you don't suffocate in the water. I guess would be the idea.
Okay.
Don't suffocate in the water.
So the lower I go down, deeper the depths, I wouldn't crush to death.
Oh, the pressure would still get you.
Okay, so I would still die.
So you still have to swim all the time so you could stay near the surface.
Unless you're just not too far down.
Are you using your lungs or do you have gills?
They're both.
He asked before. Gills.
Also, your name is Gil.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Strange how the world works.
Yeah. Didn't think we'd come full circle like this.
So, would you be able to eat soup?
I don't think so. Are you wearing a frog outfit? What is that?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Or is that like one of those little like fishes you see at the bottom of the ocean? Oh, in the bottom of the depths, they have a little light hanging out from underneath over their forehead.
It's his external gills.
I think it's a Mario thing, like when Mario wears the raccoon suit.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So he's in a suit.
He's a really fast swimmer.
Yeah. Well, that's because he can breathe underwater.
Isn't he anglerfish?
Anglerfish.
That's
the
what
word
it
you're
is,
looking for.
yes.
Yeah.
They should add that to the Italian trio.
Italian quattro.
Can taste it already.
Taste the rainbow of Quattro.
So like for the quattro, they just have a light in front of you and then it sneaks up on you and you freak out?
I guess so. Okay, how about this? Is cereal soup?
What else would it be?
Cereal?
A stew?
No, it's a soup.
Okay, so if you go to a restaurant and they say, "Oh yeah, here are today's specials," and you say, "Well, what is the soup of the day?" If they tell you that it's like Fruit Loops, is that acceptable?
That is acceptable.
Because
it
it is
is a
technically a soup.
substance and a fluid, which
Okay.
is what soups are.
But isn't soup hearty though? Like, don't you want a nice hearty soup, not like sugary milk as a soup? You know what I'm saying?
Hawaiian pizza is still pizza, and that's still sweet.
I will beg a differ, sir.
Maybe it's a bisque.
But Hawaiian pizza is good. Is it a bisque?
No, it's not thick enough to be a bisque.
Okay, it's got to be thick.
Back to the
This
Hawaiian
is gonna
pizza
have to be
thing though.
Okay.
That is very debatable.
Is it?
Do you put fruit on your pizza?
Why couldn't
Well,
you?
tomato is a
Tomatoes
fruit.
are also a
Tomato
fruit. I was
is a
thinking
fruit.
that myself.
Yeah, but you still put them in the vegetable aisle because you're not an idiot.
I heard once that knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is knowing not to put it in your fruit salad.
Okay. But back to this cereal soup though.
You really, really, really have a cereal soup question. What about the Hawaiian pizza? Okay, question. What pizza topping would you eliminate forever?
Anchovies,
Okay.
bacon, mushrooms,
I only wanted one.
onions, red
I'm
onions.
so distracted by this guy that's in a diver's suit that just like it looks like he's just trying to survive underwater, and you're jumping on him.
Well, he can't breathe underwater.
But every time you hit him, his mouth opens up and like looks like drool or something is coming out.
No, that's his regulator.
Ah, maybe he's.
Wait till he hits him
related to
again. Wait. Oh, he
Oh,
died.
Never mind.
No, can't do it.
Come on, hit him again. Come on, Mr. Froggy.
Yeah, boom.
See, right there. What's that? His regulator comes out and then it's like drool.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen that a few times before.
Maybe he's not breathing air. Maybe he's breathing. Maybe he's like an alien and a monster that's breathing something else that's gonna drool out in the water, and then they're toxic to the world. And Captain Planet might have to come and stop this person, or you.
Ah, looks like we won.
Nice.
It looks like we got Gil's special ability.
What does it do? Stick around and you might find out. There! Now you found out.
He spits a glowy egg bomb.
Indeed he does.
You seem awfully proud of him.
I am. You see, it was always my dream to one day spit glowy egg things. As a child, it was so difficult living in a world where one was so oppressed as to not be able to explode things and eat omelets. But Gil, oh Gil, he can do both, and I applaud him.
Why are we here?
I just need to stock up on some health.
If animals could talk, what would they say?
They would probably say, "Feed me."
Who would be the rudest animal?
Squirrels.
Ooh. Squirrels?
Definitely squirrels.
Why?
Because you always got their nuts.
Oh. I thought it was because they kept you getting in the road while I'm driving.
No, actually, I take that back. The rudest animal would be a sandhill crane. They think they own the road.
Oh, those things.
Yeah.
Their backwards knees pecking out your car.
Ouch.
Or maybe a seagull.
Yeah.
Seagulls are just so aggressive and angry and steal hot dogs.
They're like birdie. They're like ocean eagles.
Hot dogs. Sausages?
Dual sausage?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Oh.
Wait, what's with all these food questions?
I'm hungry.
Oh,
We've been here for a while.
Where are the BLTs?
actually,
Oh, that's a good question. They're with the Italian trios, probably.
lunch does sound good, and I do not want Italian.
Okay.
I'm offended, sir.
Look at all that icing.
It's snow.
Oh, but now I want cake.
Wait, did you just call it icing?
Yeah, like if you look that up, I bet it's sweet.
Wait. That's not the issue here. You meant to say frosting.
Okay,
Wait.
here we go.
Uh-oh. Icing and wait, there's a difference?
Yeah, there's a difference. That's clearly frosting.
Okay. Well, as long as it's not, what is that, fondant? It tastes like I'm eating a newspaper.
I don't even know what that is.
That's like that weird stuff that go on the fancy cakes. You know what I'm talking about?
You mean like that show where everything is cake?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
That is hilarious. Like everything that you see a doorknob and it's cake, and like you're trying to do something, and oh no, what you're trying to do, you try to drive a car, and it turns out those steering wheel's cake, and you crash.
What about buttercream?
This is like a disease I want.
Is buttercream icing or is
Buttercream.
Or is that frosting?
I've never actually had that before.
You probably have,
Really?
you just don't realize it.
Oh.
Because why would you like? It's not like when you eat a cake, someone says, "By the way, that's buttercream icing."
Or cream cheese icing.
Like if somebody warns me about the type of icing, then I'm less likely to want to eat the cake. Be like, "Hey, just so you know, this icing has arsenic in it."
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it isn't.
So like ricin icing would just not be something that you would like, even
Wait.
if it was the most tastiest icing
You
ever.
put rice in your icing?
Ricin.
Ricin.
Ricin icing?
Ricin, the
Poison.
Or what about
the
rice and
Geneva
frosting?
banned anti-human chemical.
Rice and beans.
What's he doing? Is that exploding? What's happening here?
He's dropping frosting balls.
Or is it icing balls?
Ah.
Or are they snowballs?
Bro, how many of these mini boss battles are there?
Are you jealous that I'm using Freon instead of shades?
Maybe.
I like his outfit. I want to appropriate it.
I like that he's blue.
I'm so sorry. Like, in my head, that whole thing sounded good. But it isn't.
Oh, we finally get Freon's special attack thing.
Okay, but what does it do?
That. It does that.
Seems really cool.
What's behind the store is of no interest to you.
What is that? And what is it spitting?
Spitting sausages? Live sausages?
I hate it and I hope to never see one again.
Dual sausage power!
How's this for a fight? Metal armor?
Using the head smash move seems pretty effective.
I'm not sure I see the point of this fight.
This is why you don't get to wear shades.
Aw, don't be sad, kitty.
I think you need to attack it.
That seems mean. It's defenseless.
Bouncing on it doesn't seem to be working.
Try the head smash move.
Huh, that seems to have worked.
Where did your head go? It's just your body.
Where we're going, we don't need heads. Oh, V8s! That would solve your problems.
Well, according to the red text, we got the blue key.
Okay, so these four guys, would we say that they make a good team? These four characters?
They seem to at least have some kind of cohesion of being able to get the platforming job done.
A lot better than us, probably.
What would you say the best four-person team is?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Ooh.
Oh,
TMNT?
What about
I would
the
say
A-Team?
A-Team? Good for.
Yeah.
I would say Kirby and his friends, although you may not know them. You know, the hamster, the fish, and the owl.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I can't remember their names.
Kirby with an owl? Like Kirby from Nintendo?
Yes.
And he's... Oh, no, I'm not aware of this.
I think it's Kirby's Dream Land 2.
I really want to see the adult Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know, when they actually finally stop being teenage and, like, grow up and get jobs. And then it's like Raphael has a desk job and he's like, oh, I miss the days that I was beating up Shredder.
So, like, adult normal employed tortoises?
Ghostbusters is also a good four-person team.
Well, quick question, though. What is going on with this cat going up and down in this, like, tube? And this snowball or icing ball or frosting ball going all around it.
There seems to be a lot of games where you have characters regurgitating something else.
Yeah, I mean, we all like to, you know, eat a lot of food in one episode. It happens sometimes.
Is the cat evil, or is the cat trying to avoid the evil?
You know,
I think we're trying to kill the cat.
Oh, poor kitty.
Now it's unhappy.
Yeah, he's really unhappy.
How many of these green balls does it have inside that the thing?
I think it's like one per hit or something.
But there's a density issue.
I think the cat just kept sticking his head out because he's waiting for Uber to deliver his Italian trio.
Or can we make it a quattro?
Oh. We could give him Hawaiian pizza.
I'll take it.
But I thought you hated Hawaiian pizza.
I gave in when I found out that tomatoes are fruit.
Okay. That works for me.
I can't argue that.
Oh, way to go, Gil. Green guy getting the green key. Maybe later we'll get some green tea.
That makes 3 keys, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping this gate is going to open.
We did not choose to be the guardians of the gate, but there is no one else.
What?
Okay, so let's see. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's that guy. He's the guy who... This guy, he dropped out of school because he farted in his lunch and it made the teacher puke, and then he couldn't recite the alphabet.
That was very specific, almost as if this happened to you before.
No, it was a news article.
Where?
In my brain.
You can... That makes more sense. I was about to ask if you could read or not.
I can read hieroglyphics.
I'm confused by his hat. I mean, he has all this other armor, but he has a very heavily armored hat, but yet they don't seem to care about not having any things besides helmets. I mean, helmets are good.
I think he had a gift card to a thrift store.
Hot Topic.
Is that a thrift store now?
It should be.
That would be a hat at Hot Topic, though, like Viking extra spikes on top.
I would expect, like, Hot Topping to probably just have him on a shirt.
I would love to see a slingshot made that was made based on this guy, that the arm is you pull back with the little guy that gets shot out, and then...
Is he attacking us with his offspring?
That's what I was thinking. Like, what's going on here? Like, little guys just flying out there, coming back.
Gotta keep them separated.
I feel like we had an episode recently where the bad guys kept, like, spitting their own offspring out. I think, was that Joe and Mac? I don't know.
I could so go for some mac and cheese and sloppy joes.
Or some sloppy joes, yeah. Well, don't
like
mac and cheese and sloppy joes
mac
as a
and
mixture.
Joes. Sloppy cheese.
Sloppy cheese.
Is
there an unsloppy cheese?
Oh, we should make our own pizza variant and call it the sloppy cheese pizza. Where like it's like 4 cheeses, but then when they get the box, it's also got like a bunch of extra cheese on the outside just to make their hands messy, and they'd be like, this pizza is a cheese pizza, and it sure is sloppy.
The sloppy part makes it sound unappealing, but yet I don't feel that way about sloppy joes.
I think that the health inspectors wouldn't like extra cheese on the outside of the cardboard box.
We need a quartet of cheese.
Oh, but if you had a sloppy Joe and it wasn't messy, what would you call it if it was just well organized? Just
Sloppy
Joe?
Joseph?
Upstanding Citizen Joe?
Upstanding Citizen Joe.
Immaculate Joe.
Has his life together, Joe. Well, he's done.
What happened to his little guy?
He's so happy about it, though.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yay.
I've been destroyed.
He gets to go to Hawaii. Oh, he can go to Italy.
For an Italian trio.
That's it.
Sorry.
There you go. Quartet.
Gentlemen, this was an experience.
I agree. So what are you going to play next?
Perhaps this team of 4 could stick around for a little while longer.
You know, I think that's actually a great idea. Little Samson is next. See you all next time.
What?
Dude, why are you not waving?
Did you not learn how to
Wave at
wave?
the end of the
Did
episode.
you go to wave school?
Stop playing with your beard.
Yeah.
Put your hand down.
I know you're
Conform.
thinking about burritos.
Conform to waving.
How many tacos are in your fridge? You're not that
Wait.
much of a thinker.
Hey, use your hand. Wave.
I can't believe this.
Look what you did.
Yeah. Did you know he's allergic to marshmallows?
Give me all the eggs, give me all the eggs. Give me all the eggs, give me all the eggs. I want all the eggs, I want all the eggs. Give me all the eggs, Nindeviled eggs. I want eggs right here, I want eggs right there. I want to have eggs almost anywhere. I want all the eggs that I've got right here. Give me all the Nindeviled eggs. Nindeviled eggs, Nindeviled eggs, Nindeviled eggs, Nindeviled eggs.
Previously on Nindeviled Eggs.
You guys ready for Little Samson?
Yeah!
Here we go!
Ahem.
Did we time skip? What's going on?
Hey there.
Did you do this? I was actually having fun. Sorta.
Did you ever think that maybe I was available to be in this video?
I assumed you were busy chasing crayon alphabetizers. Again.
Nah, I can't do that anymore. Court order.
Look, let's just get on with the next game. Are you really not going to snap those guys back or something?
Nope. Bye.
Well, here goes nothing. Or something. Why do we say that?
So here's Little Samson by Taito. Lightning strikes a mountain, and then a wizard guy zaps some soldiers before the king, who is an excellent chewer, dispatches a bunch of birds who will then deliver summons to the titular character, a dragon named Kikara, Gam, who was a golem, and KO the mouse.
Yeah, a mouse named KO! Don't mess with this mouse!
So the game starts off, and you get to pick whichever character you want to try out first. Kinda Mega Man style. Naturally, they want you to probably do them in the order shown, but forget that. I'm gonna start with KO. Yeah! I am playing as a mouse. And not just any mouse. KO mouse. He drops little explosive pellets and can attach himself to surfaces for climbing and even go upside down. Don't mess with the mouse, the KO mouse. What does KO even stand for, I wonder? In the comments right now, type your answer. He's an A-OK KO mouse. Yeah! Next, you choose one of the other three characters, so let's do this golem guy. I do like how this guy can attack in all four directions, but he's slower than frozen molasses walking to school. Uphill, both ways. That's how we did it back in my day. Everything was uphill throughout the day. The tectonic plates shifted so that you were always going uphill. Oh, and check out these structures. They look like painful lollipops. Whatever it is, I think I see, impales my tongue until it bleeds. Next, we grab Kikara, and this dragon has a demeanor of damage. He shoots a fire projectile that has a curve to its trajectory, and he can fly, for a little while. Clearly, this character is going to enable us to get through some gaps. He's kind of the Little Samson equivalent to Princess Toadstool from SMB 2. Also, thanks Taito for the small jump scare. Last, we do the intro stage for Little Samson, but what makes him so little?
Yeah, I mean, isn't Samson like a biblical figure whose strength was proportional to the length of his hair? Didn't he kill a lion with his bare hands?
Didn't he fight an army using the jaw of a donkey? The jaw of a donkey? Tickety donk, he honk, here comes Samson with the donkey jaw. Weren't his eyes gouged out after someone cut his hair? Because this guy on screen definitely doesn't have long hair. I mean, it's longer than mine, but still, he climbs walls, and when he jumps, he spins around like he's got nothing better to do. His name is Little Samson, seems like he does not care. Climbing up the walls now, will someone cut his hair? This was a Roundhouse reference. Once we complete the stage, all 4 characters talk to the king. 2 of them get transported into this ball thing, and then for some reason, little Samson has to fight the dragon.
Enough of this! What's with having to fight your friends recently? Didn't we do enough of that in the last game?
Then we are taken to the overhead map, which shows some castles and volcanoes and waterfalls and sets the lay of the land, so to speak.
Let's talk about this overhead map thing for a second. In the NES and SNES days, the overhead map was like a tease, but a good tease. It would give you a hint about what a future level could be, but the only way to know for sure was to get there and find out. You couldn't really hop online and look it up or watch a streamer, nor would you want to. You had to get there, accomplish it yourself. Or go to your friend's house and watch them do it.
And so now we begin the main part of the game, starting out as Samson, and he's still jumping and shooting and such, but we now have the ability to switch to other characters. Note in the character selection menu the letter L instead of S.
So his name isn't Samson, it's Little Samson.
Anyway, if you switch to the Golem guy, you'll notice he has his own health, and he can walk on spikes. But he's so slow. Unlike KO the Mouse Master, who can sneak into smaller areas. Yeah! Anyway, we fight the wizard guy. Saw him earlier. I find Gollum works great here, but he keeps reappearing right where we are standing. Creep. But then he summons a green Cyclops thing who spits energy spheres.
It's a technical term.
The next stage has a lot of platforming in the air with tornadoes. Probably easier to use the dragon for this part. Then some waterfall platforming using leaves as a convenient and safe mode of transportation. Then you go into a fight with this waterfall lady, but if you drop down, you advance to another area.
That's lazy. What if I try to fight her for real?
If we defeat her, it takes us here.
Oh, so this game has branching paths? That's pretty cool.
So, if you go down the waterfall, you lose the orb thing, and then the map puts you in this crab thing where you ride a huge crab guy down a river. Cool idea for an amusement park ride, just saying. But then you fight this wizard guy, he pulls you in with his gravity energy, shoots a fireball, and lightning summons some bird guys to attack you, but when he's beat, you get the orb thing back. If you choose to defeat the waterfall lady instead, you go through Skeleton Land, of which the inhabitants do not take kindly to little. At the end of this level, you can take the high path using the mouse or the low path. The low path takes you to this area, whereas the high path takes you to a different area. This second area is the same place you would end up from the earlier split when you fell down the waterfall and had to get the orb thing back.
So we are going to try to keep track of the split paths, but try not to get confused, because I'm already halfway there. Halfway confused. You know what am I explaining this?
Sticking with the alternate path, we do some climbing and skull avoiding and dodging. This area seems like a good place to switch between Little, Dragon, and KO. Then we progress to this area, which is actually the area you progress to from the waterfall fight.
Alright, so branching paths can be forgotten. The 3 permutations lead here, but we can trade our confusion for horror when we discover the boss for this section.
This thing looks like it's straight out of Alien. It certainly gives me a xenomorph vibe. He can only be damaged when his mouth is open. The dragon does pretty well for this if you charge the shot, but ultimately it's best to switch to the golem and take him down. Then we see the icon for Little moving over to the next section of the map. This area provides an increase in difficulty, but the freedom to pick who you want to use. Get brave with the dragon and risk hitting the spikes above, or use Little and take it slow with projectiles aplenty. Don't forget the green and red disappearing platforms, moving platforms, and kamikaze eyeballs. Why so many eyeballs, you might ask? Well, they belong to all the skulls that comprise the boss for the stage, which is an amalgam of skulls and looks like it belongs on a Cradle of Filth album cover or t-shirt. Once again, pick Gollum to take out the boss. Next up, you can use Gollum to land on platforms as you fall to get some power-ups. Obviously, I did a bad job of doing that myself. Then we go to an ice tower. Every game has to have one of those, where ghosty ghouls reverse sine wave at you and wizards drop lightning on you, and then you can ascend up using Gollum or whoever you want, but then you might consider speeding things along with KO McMouseman. The boss is a skeleton riding a skeleton bird thing. I use the dragon to take care of him. The skeletons are on the ground. Reminds me of the Zellera fight from FF12, but then he switches to just the skeleton on the ground. Just keep at him until he doesn't get back up. Then we touristed up at the Green Pantheon with a barrage of skeletons and flying swords. I mean, what's the point? Get it? Point? Yeah, I know. That's why you're here. Not to watch me take on this wizard guy who then summons a metal lightning knight. He raises his sword, you learn the pattern, and then you beat him. Or maybe you'd rather see me fight the purple wizard. I guess he passed his karate exam and then duke it out with the flying xenomorph dragon. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy meets Alien. But then eyeballs bombard us while the game waves to us from the background.
Isn't that nice? It's like, hey, how you doing, sucker? Hope you got enough money to afford this game.
I mean, what's the deal with that? You might ask, why is this game so expensive? Well, the story goes that Taito gave the game very little promotion and did not arrange a Super Nintendo port. The Super Nintendo, of course, having been out for a long time already, so it was an NES game with limited printing during the Super Nintendo era, and for that reason, demand for the cartridge skyrocketed once NES collecting started to really take off 10 to 15 years after the game initially came out. Maybe that's why this boss is so mad at me. The game is so expensive, he has to send several ghosts at us. He's literally giving up the ghosts, plural. Next up is the ominous, least nonchalant castle in existence, and it feels like we are in Castlevania now, or maybe the Parisian catacombs with all the skulls. And we have these stones jumping around. Maybe they are baby thwomps. And of course, the ceiling spikes have to fall right now when I'm trying to dodge everyone and everything. But then KO gets to take this side route. Go KO!
I love that mouse.
But I don't love this guy in his yellow barf costume. And what in the Mega Man boss is this with the flying energy spheres where you get to split second to do a micro iota of damage?
Micro iota. It's a technical term.
Once you beat the guy, a lightning bolt strikes this pond and an island floats out of it into the sky. Apparently that's all it needed to do that. And this doesn't look scary at all. Lightning seems normal, you know.
Wait. So what if a lightning storm came along normally, unrelated to the game? It would be like, uh-oh, there's a storm. Everyone hang on, we're about to take off again. It seems poorly designed.
Speaking of design, the interior designer of this place is probably Danny Filth. Did I already make a reference to the Parisian catacombs? And I noticed the health of all my guys is way lower. Not sure when or why that happened. And check out the walls. They look like they're made out of mold or kiwi fuzz or moldy kiwis which still have all their fuzz. Oh, and look who we get to fight again. Ghoulie McGhostface. And then the creepy Cyclops guy again. His orb things require some maneuvering, and then I bring Gollum guy out to deliver the final blow, cause he's cool like that. And then it's a revisit of Senator Night Lightning, followed by off-brand Ridley. And then we finally reach the last boss. At least I really hope that's the case. Initially, he's pretty straightforward. Shoot those red orbs so they don't hurt you when they explode, and shoot the Shredder guy. If you want to take damage, you can just get in front of him and spam him, but there's another phase in which he looks like haunted floating armor, throwing his sword around and jumping over you and shooting red orb things. It's a matter of pattern recognition and a battle of attrition. With patience, decent reflexes, and luck, you'll take out this Mega Man boss wannabe, feel good about yourself, and then of course the ground starts shaking because nothing is ever really over, right? No, of course not. It's a Metroidvania. Now that you've beat the bad guy, you gotta get yourself out of here. And of course, everything is falling apart because video game logic. So, switch between Gollum and KO to get through here. Keep moving, use potions if necessary, dodge what you can. Gollum is kind of a bad choice here probably, but get to the top. If you take damage, you can move through this barrier to this last cutscene where the boss stabs Little before the dragon buddy takes him off screen. Little is all like, what? And then our dragon friend carries Little across the credits and landscape. You know, they probably could have done this part the entire time. And where are Gollum and KO? Of course, there they are in the next screen where the king is all satisfied and happy that the kingdom is all back to good or something. Then the lady dances, a few logos, and we get the final screen. Although Gollum looks like a weird elephant, and KO the mouse also looks like a small elephant.
You know what? This game is a ton of fun. I highly recommend it. It might be a little tough for some people, but that's okay. The last thing I played that was this much fun was probably Kirby. But I cannot condone shelling out that amount of money to get this cartridge, so play it however you can, and I'll see you next time.
Alright, here we are for Lemmings Part 3. These are the taxing stages, and well, we all gotta pay our taxes. Alright, so let's peek at some of these levels. In level 2, you have 2 drops, which each have traps. You'll need to intervene by having lemmings dig down, but be careful as there's also a trap below on the right side. Level 4 has this password with letters that are kinda like Pat the Red Monkey. You know, the guy in the credits all the time, but not exactly, and that level has 2 drops. I think you need to dig under from the right side, but I dug the wrong way. Ugh. This level is called the prison, and it looks like a prison, and I have to build a prison for them. This guy Ryan had a commercial in my area advertising how he made this special sauce for burgers and hot dogs, and it was available at Hamburgertrude's. It's a local chain. I wanted to try it, but I was also trying to be cultured and fancy for some reason, and when the server brought my burger and asked if I needed anything, I said, "Would you procure Ryan's hamburger dressing?" Well, would you? Pasta. Level 10 is supposed to be just like Mary Poppins, but why? Because of the umbrellas? I don't remember a lot of splats in Mary Poppins. In this level, you have to time the explosions of the walking lemmings, and if your timing is off, they will otherwise get cooked. The title is Spider something, and so is the level. If you do nothing, they make it kind of far, but will of course splat. And I really like these giant chains on level 13. Lemmings in chains. Lemmings in chains. Whoa. If they would, could you? I know this guy Preston. He's a citrus farmer who primarily has orange groves, and there's this other guy Wesley who lives nearby. Wesley is a little learning disabled, but he's a hard worker, an innocent, well-meaning guy, just trying to find his place in the world. Anyway, Wesley loves lemonade, and he actually knows how to make lemonade given all the components. It's not unusual for him to put out a little lemonade stand, and sometimes he gives some to the Hamburgertrudes to serve. He doesn't make a lot of money, but it's something. Anyway, Preston has some lemon trees, and that's where Wesley gets his lemons. So the short version of the story is Preston lets Wesley juice his lemons. In the level Just Drop In, you... And then this level has the most nuts path. Once this guy digs through all that, I think I have to build him back up this way to the exit. Here's the last level for the taxing stages. This one feels like a classic setup. Get the 2 guys to climb, an umbrella down, then block 1 dude, and move back to bash through while the other blocker blocks on the left side, then take him on home, and that's that. Hey, that's it for the taxing stages. We got one more part, and then we're going to be done with this. See ya.
Prince of Persia. Sands of Time. Must break the loop. Nindeviled. This is an introduction. What? Wait. What? What do you want me to do?
Prince of Persia. It's a very well-known franchise with several games, a graphic novel, a movie adaptation, and supposedly takes place in the same universe as Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. Originally released on the Apple II in 1989, the eponymous Prince of Persia title would make its way to the NES in 1992. And that is what we are looking at. Look, I know it's a big franchise, and you're probably expecting something big, but no, I just want to keep it simple. No weird scenes or skits or songs or anything, just want to play the game. And besides, what would you have me do? Get an actual Prince of Persia?
Salam. Hello, Persian Prince here.
No, I literally just got done saying I don't want to do any weird stuff this time around.
Oh, come on. It's nothing bad. It's gonna be fun. There's nothing weird here.
No thanks. I've been doing this for a while. Trust me, you do not want any part of this. Besides, if you're a royalty guy, wouldn't you rather go back to doing royal guy stuff?
No. I don't want to be a Persian prince anymore. It's just so tedious. I wish I could really just, switch places with someone. Anyone?
Do you want to switch with me?
Actually? Yeah. That could be kind of fun.
Okay, cool. Let's switch.
Yep.
I feel kind of the same. I was expecting maybe some CGI or magic to swap us.
Do you even have the budget for that?
No.
So, what then? You want to just, change clothes or something?
Okay, cool. There, swapped. How do you feel?
I'm not really sure.
Do you feel dead?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm dead or not.
Do we have any bottles?
Well, this Prince of Persia game still needs to be played. Do you want to do that?
I'm a little tired of falling into traps and jumping over obstacles. I think you should do this instead. I don't want to be the Prince of Persia anymore. I'm just going to do some dead guy stuff instead.
Oh, alright. Cool.
Nah. See you later.
And so here is Prince of Persia for the NES. Go left for the continue section where we can enter a number password. Make something up and your guy dies. Anyway, go right and start the game. The animation is impressive considering this is the NES. You walk over certain tiles, it makes them fall out, and falling naturally hurts. Ow. And of course, it's a where do I go kind of game. Go to the right, and this guy stabs us. Game over. Back to the beginning. I'm gonna try to go down gently. Oops, that hurt. Go the other way this time and try to time the jump, but had we gone down, it would have been spikes. Double ow. Don't get spiked, and instead you can find a sword. Nice. Now, if only I can get back to the guy who sworded me from earlier. Oops. Spikes. Find your way back to the sword guy and hit him and block his sword swipes, and then in the room beyond him is a door which can be opened when you trigger a platform, and here is a password. Looks kinda like a phone number, but it doesn't have enough digits. In the comments right now, post a 2-digit number to add to this password, and in a future video, maybe I'll call that number.
Hey, how's it going? Do I know you? No, I'm just kind of jumping through the episodes a bit. I immediately do not trust you! What's with the frying pan?
It's my dirt nap, buddy.
Then we get to the second stage. Did you notice the time in the bottom? I'll explain later. Go left and immediately fight a guy, and in the next room there's a potion to drink. Yum. But then we get another guy, and another guy.
Hey look, I'm hanging from an NES controller.
And another guy, and another guy. Oh, but this one beats me.
Hey look, I'm still hanging from this NES controller. Oh wait, this is really long, it's really far.
Try again, and we beat him. Good. Then in the next room is the exit, which we trigger with this platform, and oops. Ugh.
Oh no, I'm slipping. Oh,
Do a better job and complete the level for this incomplete phone number. Again, give me those digits. Here's the third level, and by now you should have figured out the control scheme, of which I have not really commented. You cannot attack this game like the classic platformers and side-scrollers you're used to. The timing of jumps is not evident, and you will fall until you can turn off the Mario controls set in your brain. The easiest way to describe it is like this. From a standstill, you press A to jump forward, or B to step forward. If you press right or left, it moves you more than if you had pressed B, unless you are turning around. You know what? Let's look at the manual, okay? Okay, here you go. Oh, it kind of looks like Jafar. And he's kidnapped a princess, and his name is Jafar. Apparently this game has a story, but the game didn't waste any time telling it to you. That's fine. But here are the controls. Press left or right to turn, or hold it to run. And it even says right here, take careful steps, because it's all about the B or the A button. But you can jump further if you are running first, which is super important in case you need to catch a ledge, because you'll have to repress a button near it, and missing it usually turns into stab. Speaking of stabs, we get to stab skeleton guy. Maybe he's spinal. Anyway, hit the platform to open the door, work our way back and get sliced. Try again and make it through. Number, gimme digits, thanks. And so we move on to the yellow level. Maybe we've worked our way up from the dungeon or something. It's just yellow. It's also kind of pink. Anyway, one of the potions increases your health, which I'm going to need since I have to fight 2 guys. But then we open the exit and run into a mirror. How do I get through here? Just get out of my way.
I fought the road, but the road don't fight back.
Basically, you have to jump from a distance, and then a mirror image of our main character runs the other way. Weird. Give me some digits, and I'll call someone and tell them about it. Next up is one of the worst where do I go levels. I need to jump through this double chomper thing, but then my mirror guy drinks the potion. I hate it when someone eats or drinks my stuff.
So for this one, I'm just eating blueberry cobbler. No one really mentioned anything about this before, but I'm gonna eat it now. You can leave. Ta-ta.
Try it again without triggering the platform, and now our health is up to 5 units, which is useful for this fight, but look at that background. It's nice and dark and nightly and beautiful. It's strangely peaceful. Then there's this double poker spike thing. I try to jump it, but this isn't working. From just the right spot, I can jump past both of them, and then it's exit time.
Hey, Asimov, some 7-Up. Yeah, not bad. I'm more of an Arthur C. Clarke and Sprite kind of guy, but you know, this ain't bad. This will suffice. I'm pretty down with it. Can I just like stay here? I'm pretty thirsty, and no, sure. I'm gonna do it.
This next level is really easy. Watch. Still watching. You just go left, and keep going left, and keep going left, and then eventually you fall. Then we fall to our death. Oh, come on. The level starts you off falling to your death, so you gotta grab the ledge and pull up and then jump across. Then beat this guy. These guys take more hits now, by the way. And there's more than one, of course. Did you notice the level is back to purple bluish? I guess we are back down in the dungeon again. Unfortunately for us, we have to go to these edges and drop down. This can be tricky as you need to get to the ledge without going over, turn around, drop down, and catch the ledge. How many of these guys do we have to fight? There. Move through and hit the platform, which opens the gates and... What? Trapped? Oh my gosh. Let's try again. What you're supposed to do is trigger the gates, then jump the center so you don't trap yourself, and you have to walk all the way through again like I had to do. This next part is kind of cheap though. You have to drop down and take damage to get to the exit. Go left, then right to trigger the exit door to open. I hated this level. I don't want to call the number because this one made me want to vomit.
Yes, dirt naps are great. Hey, you're not the first player guy. You're that guy from earlier. There are so many other places you could go. We're gonna be right here. We're gonna be right here. The shower gnomes are gonna be so ticked off. Don't you know how to chew? I don't suppose you have any napkins.
Napkins? Actually, I think I got some back here.
Oh, thanks. That's great. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not so bad now.
All right, let's keep it going. Well, oops. Oh, I found the exit. Let's make this jump. Oh, dang it. Try again. These jumps. Did I say the last level was my least favorite? Well, that's wrong. It's this one. There. Finally, did I die enough? And in the very next room has these precarious little drop downs, but at least then we find the exit. I will say this level has the least amount of enigmatic exploration needed, most of which I haven't been showing you, but there's always guides on the internet, you know. For this level, there's really only one direction to go, but I can tell that I'm likely going to hairpin back on the top level and have to make it all these stupid jumps. Come on. Check out this one. You have to run and jump blindly and catch yourself on the ledge on the screen below. Okay. Then climb up, but when I jump across, I miss the ledge and fall 2 screens to be a corpse halfway up the wall. Fantastic. I really don't want to have to redo this, so I'm going to be careful with these jumps and catching these ledges. Doing okay so far. Okay, dude, I need you gone, so you can take your sword kisses and be gone. Let's get this platform and... Seriously, did I really just fall after all of that? How many times do I have to try? Finally, I get this stupid jump and hit the platform to open the exit. Now go back and just don't do anything stupid. Wait, did a mouse just hit the platform for us? That is pretty awesome. That just made this entire thing worth it. Although I guess the mouse could have been helping me throughout the game, but whatever. I'm glad to be done with this level.
Is this some sort of like Easter egg? I don't get it. Why am I doing this?
Now you can't tell me this doesn't give you some Mortal Kombat stage fatality vibes. But then we get a 6th health bar with the side detour, which comes in handy since we are going back to Yellowland. Oh wait, only 5 bars? Anyway, we are back to the where do I go part of the game, and the bad guys have 5 health bars, and check out how cheap this is. You have to know to knock out a piece of the roof. You know, I had to look this up. Pun intended.
Oh, yeah, this is for the Color a Dinosaur episode. Yeah, that's right. It's not because I enjoy coloring in this coloring book about dead dinosaurs or learning about their history or anything like that. Nothing like that.
I think we are nearly to the end, but I have no idea where to go. Still. Would this be a good time to talk about the franchise or the movie or Jake Gyllenhaal? I've never really cared for him, but I did like Donnie Darko. And when he was in that Spider-Man movie, I'll take this as a sign not to talk about the franchise or Gyllenhaal. Run across this bridge that falls out from below, through the gate, then fight this guy, and I gotta say I am getting sick of fighting these guys. This part is cheap. Right through the screen transition, there's a double spike trap. Apparently you can slowly walk through it, but I don't want to get poked. So hop over, climb up, hit the trigger panel, exit, boom. Let's jump these spikes and... This level has so much climbing and jumping and climbing. Oh, and that skeleton above us isn't terrible foreshadowing at all. This stupid skeleton. How do I beat a guy who's already dead? See that door? It's basically the last door. So we just gotta beat this guy. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes! Now we go back and up through the stairs, then go right, step on the platform, and go left, and keep going left, and just keep going left, and keep going left. I'm waiting for something to jump out and get us. But then we are in the room with the princess, and she thanks us. Then the game tells us Jafar lies dead. I guess that was the last guy we just sorted. And we saved her or whatever, and now we are the Prince of Persia. So that entire time we were just a regular guy? Yeah, whatever works, I guess. Well done.
So, you beat the game.
I did. It was quite an adventure, but how about you? Did you enjoy jumping through Nindeviled Eggs history?
Actually, I did. It's not my normal experience, but I had a lot of fun doing it.
Well, good. I think I'm ready to switch back now.
What do you mean?
Come on, you know, the Prince and the Pauper. We experienced the other side and we learned that we just want to go back to our origins.
I don't know. I kind of like this.
So, we're just going to end the episode this way?
Yeah, I guess so.
Sucker. What? I wasn't the only one who was trapped. Huh. I got their magic hat. Let me return the favor. My trusty old friend. Let's give them something nice. May the sands of time give you the message that'll save you from that which holds you here. Hopefully, you'll be able to play tennis when you're finally free.
Huh. Trotsky forgot his hat. Oh, what is this? What's in here? It's just a bunch of dirt. Ooh, there's way more dirt now. And what is this? A letter? Huh.
Hey, I think the Player One guy is here. Let's go check it out. Hey, are you the Player One guy?
No.
Are you sure you're wearing the Christmas hat?
So does Santa Claus.
Here. Play Felix the Cat on NES.
Okay. To understand Felix the Cat, we have to jump back to 1919 during the silent film era where Felix got his start. In the 1950s, he reappeared with the TV series Felix the Cat. This series introduced his bag of tricks, which also serves as the desire for the newly introduced villain known as the Professor. The lore for this probably goes pretty deep, but this is all you really need to know to set up the backstory for the game. The Professor tells Felix he wants the bag, and Felix takes off. I find it kind of funny he doesn't technically mention that he catnapped Felix's love interest, cat girlfriend, or whatever she is. And that brings us into the game's first stage, where Felix has a standard attack and can also jump, and they got the buttons correct. Yay! As you move to the right, you can collect these cat head icons. If you capture enough of them, a heart thing drops, which upgrades Felix's form and attack. The form upgrades also serve as a form of health, as getting damaged lowers you back to a lesser form, so it is in your best interest to upgrade Felix by getting enough cat head icon things. Speaking of weird heads in the sky, if you see a cloud of the Professor's head, yes, that combination of words I just said, you might be able to punch it to get a bonus item. In this case, it's a 1-up or extra life. There's also a cloud cat head of Felix's girlfriend who says, "Felix," and this can usually be found at the end of the levels. What weird magic is at work here? Let's talk about enemies. We got fish flying up out of the water, birds flying around us, cute little things walking left to right, and then these nightmare tree guys who shoot mouth projectiles at us. And this doesn't include the stationary trees that kind of just look at you. You know, would they grow up to become the background in that one Mortal Kombat level? Speaking of enemies, go down this bag thing at the end of every third level to get to the boss. This first one is that guy you see with your eyes on the screen. It behooves you to be a powered-up Felix at this point to provide the ease of pummeling him. And so we move Felix into World 2, where he uses an umbrella to float about and uses bag as a punching bag or something. When you upgrade him, he's in a hot air balloon throwing pancakes? But then later he's in a fireball spewing attack plane. Yeah. But there's something about this that feels familiar. You know, I don't know. Something about pyramids and desert in the second world. I mean, did they get this idea from Super Mario Bros. 3? Cannon tank time. That bag of tricks is pretty cool, and I can see why the Professor wants it. But what's this bag here? If you go down these bags, you transport into bonus areas with additional cat heads. Why can't the Professor just come get one of these instead? And is that little guy wearing a traffic cone as a hat? If so, I want one too. And did that dog wall just bark a dog head at us? That's weirder than the springy dog boss. Apparently in Egyptian mythology, springy dogs with guns shoot flying cats on the reg. Then there's this cutscene where the Professor is telling Felix he's gonna get a game over, but this looks like Felix's house from earlier. Was Felix out just having a fun time or on vacation while his spouse is kidnapped? The third world is a departure to a frozen wooded forest area, maybe Alaskan or Canadian. I wonder if we can get any syrup from these trees or logs or whatever they're called. And what are those weird things moving back and forth? They look like they just hatched. Maybe they're ready to feast on a frozen cat. And the boss is this floating trash can robot guy. What's that got to do with the cold northern forest? Have you ever read Hatchet? The fourth world is kinda tropical oceanic, and you're rowing all over the ocean before you start to ride a dolphin. It's a cat riding a dolphin. Would a cat eat a dolphin? I'm gonna be up late thinking about that. No, I won't, because I'll be up all night thinking about Felix riding a turtle underwater, and the turtle shoots bubbles at crabs and nuclear blobfish jelly things. Oh, Felix, what else is in your bag of tricks? Oh, a submarine submersible in the shape of your own head. Are you gonna fight the boss with that thing? Yeah, you are. And you're gonna fight that flubber wannabe before downgrading back to the Turtle Rider, and then a scuba Felix who looks like he's got a suitcase for an underwater meeting. I think this game might be a bit too easy. I mean, it's definitely fun for sure, but I'm just flying through these levels. Pun intended. But seriously, with even the most basic twitch reflex skills, you can really just move right and get through the levels, no problem. Am I fighting a mirror Felix? I don't know enough about the franchise, but I assume there's maybe a faux Felix or something. Anyway, he's gone. Every game has its requisite ice world, and in this game it's an underwater ice world, where we fight the trash can we already beat earlier in the game. And from Ice World, it's then Snow World. I guess that kinda helps us hit the Christmas element to this episode a bit more than just wearing a Christmas hat, but what's with the giant fish trapped in the ice? Pretty sure this is the guy who froze them, so let's pummel him for depriving us of delicious fishes. Got froze fishes. So one last cutscene before the final levels, and the professor says, "Good job getting here," but that's clearly wrong unless Felix lives with the professor. Actually, that's a new twist on this I had not considered. But moving forward, we are this awesome spaceship shooting spinning space blots. And is this place red and foreboding enough? We finally get to fight the professor, and he's definitely the hardest boss because he beelines it right for you and shoots jewels at you. You can upgrade Felix to get the better projectile and health, but you just gotta time your dodges and attacks. By this point in the game, you should have a ton of lives from all the cat heads and bonuses, so the likelihood of a game over, pretty unlikely. After a dozen hits or so, I take the professor out with the basic Felix glove punch, and on the next screen it says we rescued Kitty. But I can't help but notice he didn't untie her. And who is saying I love you? Kitty? Or the narrator?
There, I beat the game.
Hey, what about the lady that does the hand paintings?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Alright, happy holidays.